You have probably heard of teachers providing interventions for students that are struggling. But what do you do when the teacher's struggling? I'm about to tell you all about it right now. We're wasting time. Hi, I'm Allie Mack, and I am a teacher. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you my personal experiences about being on an improvement plan as a teacher twice. When a teacher is struggling with his or her responsibilities, I have seen two outcomes happen firsthand. The first outcome I've seen, the principal or administrators provide a bunch of support for the teacher that is struggling. And usually this support includes things like coming to your classroom more frequently or assigning a more experienced teacher and putting them in your room. This is usually a teacher that is not in the classroom anymore but helps support other teachers. So I've seen principals and administrators provide a bunch of support, but then they don't renew that teacher's contract at the end and they just let them go. The second outcome I have seen firsthand is principals will put a teacher on an improvement plan. And the way this works is they set goals for you to meet, and if you meet the goals and you do improve, they offer you a contract for the next school year. But if you don't improve, they don't let you come back. Just a quick spoiler alert, I did improve both times on both improvement plans I was on. The first one was at an elementary school, the second was at a middle school. And anyone who has taught elementary and middle know that they're their own different sets of problems and ways to manage a classroom. So I did improve when I was in the elementary world, but then when I changed jobs because we had to move and went to the middle school world, my classroom management was out of control to a whole new level. So I was on an improvement plan 2 times, and there was many similarities between the two. What I noticed is the principals, both times, they called you in their office, they told you where they noticed deficits, they told you that you were going to be placed on an improvement plan, and they set goals for you and talked about what they want to see for you to be improved. You had to sign a contract saying that you were going to do what you needed to do to follow the steps. Both times they gave you literature or books on how to improve your classroom management or whatever you were struggling with. Both times they needed you to document the classroom disruptions and student achievement. Both times the administrators allowed me to pick a day, Monday through Friday, during my planning period to come and sit with them to discuss my data and what all I have read from the books they suggested. Both times they allowed me time off from my class so I could go observe other teachers to see if I could pick up some tips and strategies from more experienced teachers. This is pretty much where the experiences become different. The improvement plan I was on for middle school was way more intense than the one I was on for elementary school. On the middle school improvement plan, I had 2 administrators. I taught 6th grade at the time, and there was a 6th grade administrator, and then there was the building administrator. And I had to meet with them every week on Thursdays during my planning period. What I was instructed to do was first create my assessments based on the standards I was teaching, and then I was to write scripted lesson plans that could be used to make sure that students were successful on that assessment. And like I said in previous videos with how to write scripted lesson plans, I told you that you were supposed to take the test yourself. And so I had to take the test of someone that had graduated college, and that was the standard I was teaching. Then on my scripted lesson plans, I would sprinkle in higher order thinking questions. So these really in-depth lesson plans and assessments and all the reading, the chapters I was assigned, was all due the next week to discuss with them. These lesson plans and assessments had to be created a week in advance. I would then go to their office, give each of them a copy of my lesson plans and my assessment with my own handwriting where I had taken the test, and they would pick it apart and they would take everything apart and say, why did you add this in here? What does this do to help you teach the standard and get the kids up to proficient or mastery of the standard? And it was so devastating because a lot of times I felt like I was being picked on. But in hindsight, I realized they really were trying to make me a better teacher, and I really needed this intervention. I realize that now, but I needed it, and they were really helping me with it. Another thing these administrators did to support me in middle school was they had 2 different lead teachers come and observe me. Both were known for their amazing classroom management skills. And both of them observed me and gave me tips on things I could do to make my lessons better and keep my classroom management under control. One lady, I'll call her Miss G, she told me to always hand students something at the door. And if you have seen any of my previous videos, this sounds familiar. I always had an assignment for students at the door. Okay, and then another thing is she told me I need to be more aloof. Instead of being smiling and bubbling, I just need to be more, uninterested, kind of like that. And then I don't know why that works, but that tip really did work. Now the other teacher, she told me and taught me how to set up centers. So basically she said to always start with an independent center where they work quietly, and then when they handle that, you add on another one and another one. And I'll do another video on how to set up centers. I know that's kind of a hot topic right now. This same teacher that was an expert at centers, I'll call her Miss A, she also taught me how to utilize exit tickets to provide interventions for students that were still struggling with the skill. I also had to track my data and student improvement. I had to create graphs and charts to show how as discipline went down, student achievement went up. And that was really eye-opening to see that. Dr. J and Dr. B, those were the administrators that were helping me on my middle school improvement plan, they taught me how to write really good essential questions and focus questions. They basically told me take the verbiage from the actual standard and write an essential question with that. Then you write your focus questions or daily goals and make them as simple as you can, but still in line with that overarching essential question so students have easy obtainable goals to master this complex skill. Another thing, when I would meet with them on those Thursdays, they told me to cut out anything fun or any cutesy pie activity, because I guess what I've noticed is these cutesy pie activities would get them off task and then they would not want to listen to me. So basically I had to eliminate anything fun, all the cute little video hooks I had, the little songs that went with the lesson, any cutesy pie cut and paste, that was gone. And I had to come up with activities that were more towards the goal, that were more structured, and made the kids feel like they were working more than having fun. They kept telling me, you don't have to have the students to like you to respect you. But see, what they didn't realize is I did not want the kids to like me. My goal was to make learning fun. And I guess by me doing all these cutesy pie little things, I was trying to make it fun for the students when a lot of times they weren't really learning as much as they should because they were so off task. After being on this improvement plan with Dr. J and Dr. B, my referrals went down, student achievement went up, and let me tell you, my classroom management was horrible for this. I would write up 6 children a class period. That's how terrible it was. But anyway, so I was improving. I got my contract for the following year, and I feel like I have been improving steadily ever since because I've been using these strategies and techniques that they have taught me. For that entire year, I was on an improvement plan. I'm actually very fortunate that 2 people that run a big school took the time once a week to sit down with me and help me improve. Remember earlier in the video, I told you that I've seen firsthand 2 possible outcomes of a teacher struggling. They either help them, then let them go, or they put them on an improvement plan, offer the same support, and if the teacher improves, they get to come back. I am so happy these 2 administrators did not throw me away like garbage, like I'd been thrown away before. I'm glad they saw something in me to help me improve and to help me be better, because I've been thrown away twice before, and it was not a good place to be. However, on a more positive note, the principal that had me on an improvement plan for the elementary school, I actually saw him at the Making Connections concert. Please check that video out. I'll put a link somewhere. But it was so good to see him. It was almost like seeing a celebrity, but better. Another thing that I took away from being on this improvement plan, both of them actually, is you need to collect data. Collecting data on disruptions, collecting data on each student and how much they're improving or not improving. I plan to create a video on how to collect data and what types of data you need to be collecting. And I'll have all kinds of good downloadable resources at my website, which is hotforteaching.weebly.com. So be looking out for that video coming up very soon on the types of things you need to document. Real quick story, on the year that I was on an improvement plan, I had to document how many disruptions for class. Okay, so I did that, and then I noticed there was this sweet little girl. She was hanging with not so nice people, so I called her mother. Her mother thought I was picking on her, and she set up a conference to meet with me. So what I did is I brought the data from that particular class, and I showed her the disruptions for the class and disruptions just for her child. And she saw that her child had almost 0 disruptions until this very short span of time. And then that child was all the disruptions for that span of time, just like 3 days. And so by providing this data to the mom, she was able to see that I wasn't picking on her child. Most of the time, the disruptions were not even her child at all. So, except for that one little window. So that helps me out a lot because I was not picking on her child. And by the way, all the parents out there,
teachers do not have time to pick on your child. We just do not. Get that out of your head, please.
Please. If anything, teachers are in the business to help your child. I'm not trying to harm them. I'm trying to train the kids to be an adult. Because what was that quote, that little meme or whatever I saw? It says, I want to hire people that don't turn in work, said no boss ever. I'm trying to help your kid. I do not have time to be picking on your baby. If anything, I look at each of the kids that I teach and I service as my own daughter and my own son and how I would want them to be treated. I feel more empathy for kids, I feel, because I am a mom. And I'm not saying that teachers that aren't a mom don't have that same kind of empathy, but I try to look at each of the kids and I think to myself, there is a person that loves each of these babies as much as I love my own kids, and anyone that's a mom knows that love. And I would never be rude or harm another kid. So teachers do not pick on kids. At least I haven't seen it ever. And I've been in, 5 school districts and a private school? I've never seen it happen. Now, that doesn't mean it hasn't happened. I can only speak for what I've observed. And oh my gosh, I've gotten off on a little rant. I'm sorry, let's get back to the topic. So, I was on an improvement plan twice. It worked out for me. I feel like I'm a better teacher because of it.
Now you just have improvement plans for how to apply eyebrows and do your hair.
So, you guys have heard from me now. Now I want to hear from you. In the comments below, this can apply to anybody, even if you're a teacher, even if you're not. If you were an administrator and you saw that a teacher was struggling, what would you do to help the teacher improve? Please leave that comment down below. I would really love to hear from you. Thank you all so much for watching. If you found this video informative or helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And I guess I will see you next time. Have a good day.